Meet the kids next door, who are now behind bars.
I assaulted someone with a knife.
Baby-faced kids with adult-sized rap sheets. Call it brat camp in the extreme, except this one's got separation cells and kids under constant surveillance. For the first time, cameras have been let in. Tonight, you'll see a private world of sexuality.
That's the thing here. I'm gay for this day. That's the motto here.
Well, your pregnancy are kind of off limits now.
No.
Shame.
Who loves you?
I don't know.
Do you love you?
No.
And a secret so painful, she can barely say it out loud.
I'm not going to tell you, so might as well just give up on trying to guess.
But in the strangest of places, you'll also see hope.
I want to make something out of myself.
Tonight, an update where they are now. The lost children behind bars. And now, Chris Cuomo.
Welcome. Tonight I'm outside New York's notorious Rikers Island jail, and these foreboding signs say it all. This is the kind of place the kids you're about to meet could wind up. That is, if their juvenile corrections experience doesn't set them straight. Cameras are rarely allowed inside the facilities you'll visit. Now, they may be called schools, but they share a lot in common with adult prisons. And yet, these places in Arizona you're about to enter may be the last and best chance for kids there. So come and meet some kids who look like they could be growing up on your street, or even in your house. How did they wind up behind barbed wire? For some, the corrections experience could be a new beginning. For others, it could be the beginning of the end.
Pull them up.
My name's Zara, 13. I was charged with a drive-by shooting.
They did not give it to me. I don't know.
My name is Ashley. I'm 16. I was charged with disorderly conduct.
My name is Jesse, age 17, committing offense, manslaughter, felony 2.
My name is Joan. I'm 17, and I am here for...
These kids start out like any child, bright, loving, wanting to please. But somewhere along the line, something goes wrong. But as you'll see, there's more to them than meets the eye. 100,000 kids like this are currently locked up somewhere in the United States.
You're not filming these guys' faces, are you?
No.
All in their teens, many nearing 18. For these kids, this is the last stop and their last chance. Welcome to Arizona's Department of Juvenile Corrections. The bleak surroundings say it all. The routine is like any jail. Background checks, metal detectors, tension in the air.
Well, if you can't handle it, you need to use me to handle it.
That's why I told you.
300 boys at the Adobe Mountain School, 80 girls across the yard at the Black Canyon School, and just as many stories. Primetime spent nearly 6 months following several kids as they wound their way in and out of what are called Arizona's safe schools. High security to keep the kids safe inside, and also to keep them from getting out. Even though there's razor wire, pat-downs, and cell doors, there is opportunity here, even hope. The average stay here is 6 months. Staff struggle daily with the question of whether a kid can be fixed. Kids who do bad things often for reasons that are tough to understand. Kids like Conrad.
I'm really hyper. My name's Conrad. I'm 16. I was charged with possession of paraphernalia.
The average kid in here has been arrested 8 times, and Conrad is no exception. On the surface, he looks like a cute kid, like Opie from Mayberry, but he isn't.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Oh, I assaulted someone with a knife. He made me mad, so I hurt him.
Conrad came here just under 70 pounds, and the boy's rap sheet is taller than he is. He's been banned from all the mainstream schools in the state of Arizona because of numerous fights, thefts, weapons charges, drugs, and alcohol. What the record leaves out, though, is the most important question with all the kids here. Why?
I got hooked on drugs, doing drugs with my mom. Then I came back out here and it just tore my life up. I grew up being abused, physically and emotionally and mentally abused by my mom. And now, ever since I came out to Arizona, I've been a very, very angry kid.
Many kids make claims, but state records show Conrad's mother pled no contest to child cruelty, and Conrad was taken into state custody for stints when just a child. Conrad says he wants to change, but feels he can't. And as you'll see later, there may be a reason for that.
I'm a good person. I just make bad choices.
Stand by your doors, please, ladies.
This is the state facility for girls in the state of Arizona.
The girls are housed across campus. According to Suzanne LaRue, their superintendent, they present unique challenges.
Our girls here, they're survivors. Just a lot of family abuse, incest, molestation, drug abuse. Parents are not available to them. Parents are locked up themselves. These are children.
For what? I'm not eating primary.
Ashley is the face of an angry child. Her fury greets all who come near. But in reality, Ashley's anger is the flip side of pain. On this morning, Ashley cuts her head on her bunk waking up, but she fights any medical treatment.
You may need little stitches in there.
I am not getting stitches.
All right.
Hell no.
You seem very angry.
Yeah.
So what's it like inside there, dealing with all the anger?
I'm like a time bomb.
Like many here, it almost seems as if Ashley were born into pain. 96% of the kids have substance abuse problems. 60% have criminal histories in their family. Both are true for this teen.
My dad was smoking meth and smoking weed, and he'd leave it laying around, and it was there, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna get high.
Still worse, Ashley claims she was molested. She won't say by whom, but she says this drove her delinquency, fighting and skipping school.
How often were you getting in trouble at your peak of performance?
Every day. I'd steal or I'd fight. I'd have the cops called on me every day.
Ashley is filled with intense self-hate. She's being treated with a mix of therapy and antidepressants. Throughout her life, she's tried to kill herself 7 times.
A lot of the times I did it because I wanted to die, but I did it sometimes just because I wanted to see how far I could go before I actually sent myself to the hospital.
She's playing a dangerous game to get the attention of her mother, the person who she says has hurt her the most, and yet whose love she most craves. There are daily group sessions like this here, allowing kids to open up and see they're not alone as victims.
Being here, it gives me someone to talk to, like counselors or psychs. And if I was on the outs, I wouldn't have that.
Ashley has taken to writing pain away, especially in letters to Mom.
I told her that I hated her and I could care less what happened to her, and she's not my mother, she's just the person that gave birth to me.
Who loves you?
I don't know. So many people in my family have told me that they hate me and they don't want me around them. It's just, even when they do tell me they love me, I find it hard to believe. So.
Do you love you?
No.
Up next, a trip to the most dangerous unit in juvenile jail.
I can see why you would be anxious to get out of this place. No offense.
Our guide, the teenage killer in the cell next door, and his chilling story of how he got there when the lost children behind bars returns. Primetime returns. Once again, Chris Cuomo.
Arizona's juvenile correction system is set up to be part prison, part school.
Any problems, no physical contact.
You could be here for 2 years, you could be here for 3 months. It's on you.
It's a pretty friendly place during the day, but pretty formidable at night. a feeling that comes quickly when you're on the inside.
I'll show you where we're going to stay tonight.
My home with the boys is Crossroads, the unit for violent offenders. Next to the cell I'll experience is 17-year-old Jesse.
You got 2 blankets, 2 sheets, your state shirt, state shorts, state pants, and state socks.
I can see why you would be anxious to get out of this place. No offense, Mr. Superintendent.
Many here regard Jesse as the school's real success story.
This is when the governor came. I was the president of the student council at the time. This is some of my members.
But Jesse has also been here the longest, since he was 15, with a horrific act in his past.
What was the scariest moment for you?
The night I shot Alexis.
911, what is your emergency? Oh my God, I'm not all in my hands.
Jesse's older brother was hosting a party, and Jesse's buddy, 19-year-old Alexis Acosta, was there. For some reason, Jesse says he wanted to impress Alexis, so he went to his brother's closet.
Sir, you need to calm down and give me the information, okay?
I just turned, cocked it, and fired.
Jesse says he grabbed what he thought was an unloaded shotgun.
I expected to hear a click and then to show it off as a cool, little thing, but it was loaded.
Were you in complete control of your faculties?
Yes, I was. I wasn't drunk or anything. They gave me a breathalyzer test on site.
Ma'am, he's gone. He's dead.
Jesse swears it was all a terrible mistake, and the judge agreed. That's why he wasn't tried as an adult for murder.
There is no bringing Alexis back. He has been added to my motivation to become a greater person, so I can look up one day and say, Alexis, this is for you. I did this for you.
We spent some time, shot hoops before lights out, an activity that allows kids supervised play to see if they're learning to get along. Then we joked about my old school skills.
The last second I pulled it back, requiring even more athleticism.
Very true.
It's interesting to meet a kid who has killed someone who at the same time seems like the ideal son. So the boys here in the Crossroads unit, which is for the violent offenders, are welcoming me by making noise here after lights out.
It's 5:45 a.m. I had a miserable night thanks to my cement bed and constant bed checks by flashlight-happy guards who say a kid can kill himself in just minutes. A lesson they learned the hard way. Just 2 years ago, 3 kids committed suicide right here in the space of several months. Federal investigators found widespread sexual and physical abuse throughout both the boys' and girls' schools. So in Arizona, there are new people in charge and a new mandate. Treat these kids like kids, not hardened criminals.
Do you believe that corrections with respect to juveniles is where you want it to be?
No, but we're on the right track.
Last year, Arizona's governor cleaned house and appointed 30-year veteran Mike Branham to oversee a massive overhaul of the state's juvenile correction system.
We make sure that the kids can't hurt themselves and can't hurt other people while we figure out how to reach inside and help that child deal with whatever it is that's his or her issues. We can and do make a difference in the kids who can and will change.
Maybe the biggest difference between a prison and one of these schools deals with what happens in here. In jail, this would be called a cell, and you'd spend between 20 and 23 hours a day in here being punished, confined. This place works on the opposite idea. It is all about incarceration without confinement.
Tell me this, why would I pick desert regions for us to live?
Because we're living in the desert.
Amen, bro. Okay, good job.
One of the unique ways this school reaches these kids is its teaching methods.
Alrighty, I just want to talk about elevation and latitude.
For teenage boys, math is taught using cars.
So it's one home.
Most of these kids have grown up being embarrassed by learning disabilities and poor performance at school.
There you go. See, this guy's a good teacher.
So with kids like Conrad, education is all about confidence.
The staff, they don't treat me like I'm crap.
My name's Casey. I'm 16 years old. My charges were possession of marijuana, paraphernalia, and aggravated assault and violation of probation. That's all.
Over at the girls' facility, 16-year-old Casey is preparing for a very different type of education. She is 7 months pregnant when we meet, a child about to have a child. Behind the smile and the belly, a thief who looked for trouble.
Everybody thought I was so innocent and sweet. Oh, look at her, she's so cute. And I'm just looking at him like, yeah, you better watch your stuff, you know.
Casey's records show abuse by her convict father and years in protective custody. And although the father of her baby is a teenager too, somehow Casey sees this as a chance for a new beginning.
If I wasn't pregnant, I would be fighting. I wouldn't care. I would not care. But now I actually care, and I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to get out, and I'm going to be a good mom.
But until she gets out, Casey will have to deal with life on the inside, which can be stressful in more ways than one.
Up next, the rules of attraction.
Please be appropriate in there.
When kids are desperate for any kind of love and affection.
And they bet their snacks. Oh, I'll turn her gay, I'll turn her gay. And it's a game to them.
When the lost children behind bars returns. We continue with the lost children behind bars. Now, Chris Cuomo.
My ladies, that should be up and ready. Come on, Flora. Ashley, let's go.
Juvenile corrections isn't just about controlling violence.
Take it out, Filey.
It's also about controlling emotions. A third of the kids here suffer from mental or emotional problems. Sometimes they can be treated with medicine, sometimes therapy. And for the girls who are victims of abuse, sometimes they find ways to help each other. In the girls' facility, there are 80 teams locked together without any boys. It's a combustible mixture fraught with peril and sometimes passion.
A lot of the females in here are gay.
They'll have a different girlfriend every week, every other day.
And that's something that you think they only do because they're here?
Yeah. That's the thing here. I'm gay for this day.
This behavior is part of life in adult prison, but it seems different in the juvenile world. Staff at the boys' facility say it's not an issue, and no boys said otherwise. But with the girls at this Arizona facility and elsewhere, part of the culture is what they call girlfriend drama.
Girlfriend drama.
A lot of girls get jealous of other girls and they want to start a fight.
They'll make comments when you walk by like, damn, look at that ass.
Officially, it is forbidden.
Please be appropriate in there, okay? If you want any problems, no physical contact.
But Counselor James Abercrombie admits the behavior is a common manifestation of emotional neediness.
It's about half of the girls that are in here. What I see that as is people that have a distorted view of what a relationship is.
For some of them, finding a girlfriend is creating a kind of substitute family.
The physical, sometimes it makes them feel loved.
None of the girls we spoke to said they were part of this subculture, but all acknowledged its presence and potential pitfalls.
Well, you're pregnant, so you're kind of off limits now?
No. Doesn't matter if you're pregnant, it doesn't matter anything, they're going to try to get you. They will try and try and try until the day you leave.
On this night, I stay in the girls' facility.
It's now bedtime. All the girls have quieted down. There was this long ritual of people saying good night, I love you, good night, good night.
They're locked in and monitored constantly throughout the night. Privacy is not an option in this fragile environment. Back in the boys' section, Conrad is bouncing off the walls. He simply cannot control his emotions. He was finally diagnosed with bipolar and attention deficit disorders. And then there was a new form of treatment.
It's a mood stabilizer that they had me on.
The staff has identified an expensive drug called trileptal that shows signs of helping. His family says Conrad finally seems under control.
We had a good visit. He was real, I don't know how to say it.
Nice, gentle.
Gentle, yeah. He's calmed down a whole lot. The medicine makes a big difference for him.
This is home for Conrad, where he'll return when he gets out. That's his stepmom. Remember, Conrad had major problems with his birth mother. Still, even with a more stable home life, when Conrad was released previously, his parents couldn't afford to keep up his prescription, and insurance wouldn't pay. Conrad quickly spun out of control, ending up back in his cell for the third time.
With his medication, I think he can survive in a normal lifestyle, but honestly, without it, I don't think he can.
We have some kids still in separation.
For Conrad and other kids who often cannot control themselves, violence is bound to occur. And when it does, the result is separation, the closest thing here to solitary confinement.
So if a youth comes to separation, they're going to be here because all other interventions haven't worked. You went after them because you were angry.
Nurit Friedlander runs the unit. It's the last resort when these volatile kids are a danger to others or even themselves.
They will use anything they can to do self-injurious behavior.
To prevent suicide, the rooms contain just a bed and a toilet, and kids are often stripped of their clothes.
He takes his clothes and rips them off and sometimes and tries to hang himself on the door hinges, so the psychologist ordered for his clothes to be removed from there.
So you sit here and you watch the kid on the monitor.
We watch kids on the monitor. We also walk the hallways because it takes 2 to 5 minutes for a youth to actually hang themselves. Wasn't it the staff that you pushed too?
But separation isn't about isolation or punishment. Boys and girls are sent there for psychological evaluation and to do conflict resolution, to teach them how not to be violent.
We're trying to teach them the skills to remove themselves. Instead of going and punching Frankie in the face, what could have you done differently? Because if you don't teach them the skill, they're not going to have it when they get out on the outside.
When you got put in 3 years ago, when it all began, who was that person?
Very annoying, rowdy girl. I would never listen to staff. I was always getting in trouble somehow.
Geraldine, whose sweetness hides a chilling secret, has visited separation 6 times for fighting in her facility, but none in the past year.
I'm tired of getting in trouble. It's time for a change. It's time to move on.
She has an extensive record of offenses, including trespass, disorderly conduct, smoking pot, and habitual truancy. But now, after a 3-year sentence, she's just 4 days until freedom. This is your favorite place here, right?
Yeah, it's like my sanctuary. I don't know, it's just being outside in the nature and taking care of something that grows, and I just love it.
Yesterday you said that you kind of saw yourself going through a transformation like a plant since you've been here.
I was a seed, and now I'm a flower.
But Geraldine was sent here for more than mischief. There is something else, something she has hidden from all the other girls. So when the girls say, "Why are you here?" what do you say?
I'm not going to tell you, so might as well just give up on trying to guess.
What is Geraldine's big secret? When Primetime continues.
When Primetime returns, a young girl finally tells our cameras her shocking secret, the one she's kept hidden from the other inmates for the past 3 years.
I am here for
Primetime continues after this from our ABC stations. The Lost Children Behind Bars continues.
When these kids leave Arizona's Department of Corrections, they may leave behind bars, bells, and locks, but they face invisible obstacles on the outside. Troubled families, old friends, and often profoundly painful memories.
For me, it's been a big change. Like, it changed my life completely around. I did a whole 360.
After 3 years of intensive therapy and life on the inside, Geraldine is moving on. She's just had her final meeting with the Superintendent Review Board.
I always had the fear in the back of my head saying I'm not leaving. But, you know, I've come this far, and at my board, they had nothing but nice things to say, and it's like, whoa.
Her sentence was longer than most, and for good reason. Though she's been through so much, she is still so young.
I don't want to grow up. I don't want to become an adult. I want to be home. I kind of missed out 3 years of my teenage life being locked up. And it sucks.
Geraldine was just 6 years old when she was molested by her mother's boyfriend.
I got involved with some guy that I thought I knew, but he molested her.
How long had it been going on?
It was a short time. I was about a month.
Imagine a month of molestation. The damage was profound. Young Geraldine lost her innocence and when still just a child began a cycle of petty crimes, substance abuse, and truancy.
Started doing drugs, meeting different people, doing alcohol, staying up late, not coming home.
But then, Geraldine's behavior turned darker. At just 13, she committed an almost unthinkable act.
I heard the kids in the back room playing. Then all of a sudden the door shut. I opened the door and there they was laying in the corner.
I'm Juvenile, I'm 17 and I'm here for child molestation. I had a sexual encounter with my 6-year-old nephew at the time.
Geraldine may never fully understand why she did what she did. After years of therapy, she merely seems to parrot the professionals.
I was only thinking about myself and my wants and needs and desires. I was just focused on hurting them. And I hurt myself too. 5 pills. I need 6. If I didn't sign it right here, then...
Like most of these kids, Geraldine will need medication and therapy for years to come. She will be returning to a hard life in a cramped trailer with her mother, Sherilyn.
Hey, don't worry about the closet, don't worry. They want us to have twin beds, but I don't have the money to buy twin beds. And it's big enough for 2. I miss her so much, we just hug each other and we fall asleep.
Sherilyn has a severe heart problem that makes keeping house and working near impossible. She's counting on Geraldine to find a job and help pay the $435 a month rent. A lot of pressure for a young girl still trying to figure herself out. Ashley, too, is only days away from her chance to go home. Ashley has softened in just the short time she's been here. Now she's eager to discuss her emotions and share letters and poems she's addressed to others, but written for herself.
When you go back and read what you have written, what is that like for you?
It's hard because it brings back memories I don't really want to be brought back up.
Give it a go. Let's see what you got.
Words written to the father who abandoned her.
You were someone who was supposed to be there and supposed to care. Instead, you walked out of my life and never looked back. You tried to make contact, but now I'm the one who turns away. I'm the one who has walked out, and I can honestly say I'll never come back in your life.
You gonna send him that?
I don't have his address, and I don't talk to him, so I don't know.
Do you think that you're bad, or do you think that you're hurting?
I don't feel that I'm bad, but I know that what I do is wrong, and most of the time I do it because I'm hurting.
Paint a picture for me of what would be the dream end to this.
To get out and not have to look back.
From dream to reality, her superintendent review board, where Ashley makes her case for freedom.
Before, I didn't really care about what happened to me, but now being away from my family, I know that they care about me and that they want me to just be successful. And
do you want to be successful?
Yeah.
For who?
For me.
For you.
But will she be able to succeed if she goes back to a toxic home life? Her only buffer will be the love of her grandparents, who've become her legal guardians. Grandpa's there by her side. Grandma's on the phone offering support.
Ashley can do it. She's just got to have the right kind of guidance and somebody to show her what's right and what's wrong and what's expected of her.
For Ashley, the challenge will be with her mother, who lives just blocks from her grandparents. Ashley feels that her mother has repeatedly put the men in her life before her children, and says her neglect has fueled much of her pain and rage.
Tell her she don't have to come because I don't want her there.
She has a number of issues surrounding mom, neglect, abandonment issues. Any child, when that connection to the natural mother isn't strong, there's just repercussions.
Still, Ashley has made a persuasive case, and a decision is rendered.
I think you've done a lot of changing, a lot of growing, and I wish you a lot of success in the community. and we're going to release you. We're conditionally released. You're going to be on parole, and you're going to leave Sunday.
Love you, Grandma.
Love you too, babe. Miss you.
Don't cry. You're gonna make me cry.
Okay, honey. Well, we'll be up there early Sunday morning to get you.
Bring me some clothes, please.
No, you're coming home on your birthday too.
But for all the smiles, the numbers paint a grim picture. 43% of these kids eventually wind up back here or in adult prison.
I hope I don't see Ashley back here. There's a very good chance that Ashley will be back here.
It's Ashley's last night here, and she's excited to leave. But she has no idea what she'll face when she goes home.
Up next, new beginnings. For Casey, the final push for a baby behind bars.
You were worried every little bit.
And for Ashley, home at last.
Oh my God!
But there's a call from her past that leads to disaster. Who's on the other end? When the lost children behind bars continues. Primetime continues. Once again, Chris Cuomo.
Our time with these kids is about to come to an end. It's been quite a journey, and now we flash forward a full year since you last saw them, and a lot has changed. We begin with Casey. As you'll remember, she dedicated her time in corrections preparing for this moment.
I'm gonna be having a girl, and her name's gonna be Emily Renee.
After 8 hours of labor, Emily Renee is born, 8 pounds, 21 inches, and healthy. For Casey, she is the living hope for a better future. At first, the baby had to sleep at her grandmother's house, while Mom remained locked in a cinder block cell 15 miles away.
This is her when she was about a week old. That's one of the ones that were done in jail. I see you smiling.
Today, Casey and Emily Renee live together, and the teenage father is also still in the picture. And things are changing for the better for Casey and her new family. She's working, completing her GED, and plans to start college in the fall.
Like before, my problem was getting high, and she's my high now. I'm afraid if I get high or something, I can't take care of her. So that's one of the reasons why I've stayed clean and I've done good. And I don't know, she's everything to me now.
For Jesse, the star of the program, the last 3 years of his life have been all about hope.
911, what is your emergency?
Instead of taking away from this world, instead of hurting, I am now giving back and helping.
This was home for Jesse until he turned 18. 85% of releases come this way. It's called aging out of the facility. And it's a moment Jesse has waited for a long time.
The moment I'm facing the gate and I hear the call for the gate to open, and before me I see a horizon without fences, and I'm experiencing freedom for the first time in such a great while that I fall to my knees and I begin to cry because I don't remember what it's like.
No, after you. I mean, losers first.
But for this standout kid, re-entry has gone well. He visited me in New York City, and this time we were on my home court.
I'm excited, just to be able to have, my freedom of thought and my, to make my own decisions. That's exciting.
Not rushing into anything, though.
No, trust me, I got my stuff organized. If I'm not ready, I'm not gonna have a kid until near 30, because I want to make sure that everything is ready, that this kid can come into my life and have everything that the child needs. And
everything is going according to plan for Jesse. He moved to upstate New York and is living with family and now working at a sporting goods store. He plans to start college in the spring. But there is always that inevitable question.
Why were you in jail? And I'm like, well, when I was 14, I was playing around with a gun and I shot and killed someone I cared for.
But you do have to get past that, right? Because you're already much more than what you were when you were 14 on one night, one set of decisions. a lifetime worth of consequences.
I've been through the worst struggles, and I've made it, and I've come out stronger than I was before. So I need to use that and move on.
I was put on this earth for a reason, and it wasn't to be bad. It was to do what I have to, not go to jail.
But unfortunately, Conrad would wind up in jail. First came adult jail, and then adult court to face outstanding charges for breaking into cars. Conrad claims he was just the lookout.
They shackled me, searched me, and handcuffed me and put me in the van.
His status as a juvenile can no longer insulate him, because he's now considered a habitual offender. From now on, he will face adult prison time.
The difference between there and here is there they care for you guys, try to help you, so they can put you back out in the community. And here they really don't care what happens to you.
He's in a man's world now, a reality that is sinking in.
Because if I go to prison because of my size and stuff, it'd be easy for them to handle me, and I don't want that to happen.
All right, sir, Mr. Wood, for your part, looks like the
Conrad has won one more chance. After a week-long trial, the jury found him not guilty. He's now back home with his family, trying to earn his GED and staying out of trouble. He'll be 18 in September. For all these kids, the key is finding the right path. For Geraldine, that meant graduating from trade school.
I like doing stuff with my hands, not sitting at a desk behind a computer being bored.
Despite some ups and downs, she's been complying with the rules of her parole.
Special recognition award from Tucson Juvenile Parole and Resource Center. Says for continuing success in the community and becoming a positive role model.
Geraldine has moved home with her mother, who's been anxiously awaiting her return. They even have a community swimming pool to escape the Arizona heat. A place to dream about the future.
I'm going to try to accomplish what I've planned. Go to New York, get a car, get a nice education. I want to go to college.
A lot to accomplish for a young woman, especially while taking care of her sickly, unemployed mother. Just 19 days from adulthood, Geraldine hints at her burden.
She's the mom, I'm the daughter. I did the job of both of us. And it's just time for me, grow up and take care of myself.
A fragile situation that soon gives way.
This is the police. Can I help you?
Hi, yes, my name is Jeremy, and I'd like to report a abusive incident right now.
19 days later, a 2 a.m. phone call to the police.
I just turned 18 years old and she's still hitting on me, so I can slap her in the face and beat the shit out of me. I mean, what kind of is that?
So she's been hitting you?
Yes.
Today?
Just a couple of minutes ago.
Okay. I'm having officers respond out to you.
Sherilyn, yes.
Sherilyn was arrested for domestic violence seen here in court just last month. And Geraldine has been living with relatives while mother and daughter work on reconciling.
Good morning.
And for Ashley, one final wake-up call.
I didn't sleep.
Be good.
Okay. Oh my God!
At first, things go well. Within days, there's even a new boyfriend in the picture. But then, an old demon resurfaces.
I got a call from someone that I didn't really want to talk to.
Even with her new love and her new chance, harsh words from her 3-time convicted felon father, shattering her fragile confidence.
He told me that he wanted nothing to do with me, that I was worthless, that I was a mistake.
The pain pushes 17-year-old Ashley to make her 8th suicide attempt.
After I got off the phone with him, I went in the bathroom, got 2 or 3 bottles of pills and started taking them. I wanted to die. I wanted it all to end.
Like so many of the girls we've met, Ashley is desperate to be loved and to give love. She repeats the cycle of becoming a teenage parent herself. Soon, her boyfriend is not the only man in her life.
I'm gonna give my baby everything that my mom couldn't give me.
It's not an easy dream to live out, but pregnancy does help keep Ashley out of trouble. Just 2 days before her graduation, Ashley gave birth to 7-pound, 7-ounce Joshua David, a biblical name that suggests a calling to overcome. Her son's birth wound up being the perfect graduation gift.
In spite of everything, she's changed her life and was just released from the hospital, we understand, today. And she has said that she was not going to miss her graduation. Ashley, would you please come up and receive your presidential scholarship? We're very proud of you.
She is off to college and off drugs. The hope is that she and all of these kids have their best days in front of them.
This has been one of the better weeks I've had in a long time. Probably the best.
We'll be right back. Like the rest of us, these kids can't control the circumstances they were born into, and many of them won't be able to overcome them. But whether it was the success of the Arizona system or just the eternal optimism of youth, every one of these kids held a ray of hope. All of them wanted to change. I'm Chris Cuomo. For all of us at Primetime, good night.
The Emmy nominations are in, and every ABC News program has been singled out, honored for excellence. No wonder, morning till night, 24/7, more Americans get their news from ABC News. Accurate, credible, and once again, honored.
The Women's British Open, this weekend on ABC.